your reaction is going to be, you're waiting for that release,
Yeah.
And I think a lot of horror movies really sort of embrace that technique. Mm-hmm. But I think overall, in terms of overall filmmaking, that ramp up to the release, and like for me, that's why I don't get too crazy about spoilers, because I'm like, you know what, like I can sit down and watch The Sixth Sense, which is a movie that's completely built upon its ending, but you watch that the third or fourth time, you're seeing all of the hints
exactly
that were left to let you know how silly it was that you missed this huge twist at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
So sometimes a movie can benefit from you knowing where it's going.
Like I caught was it The Visit the other day?
Yeah.
Have you seen that yet?
No, but I read the twist.
Yeah, and I thought it was good. I got shit on a lot because I said I thought it was a good movie. A lot of people didn't like that, but I thought it was pretty decent. Like, judging off of the last couple of movies M. Night has put out, it wasn't that bad because I totally went into it from the whole, it's
low expectations.
Yeah, it's a cam movie. It's about kids. Yeah, so I kind of slipped into the suspension of disbelief a little bit better with it.
Sure.
I thought it was really good though.
Yeah, no, that's what I heard. A buddy of mine who's a big horror fan, he texted me and asked me if I had seen it. I hadn't, just because for me, I'm like, all right, M. Night, you got to do a lot to get me out of my seat. Or a seat in the theater.
I want to see like an Unbreakable 2 or something,
Yeah. I mean, for me, that is probably one of the best directed movies of the last 25 years.
Yeah, it was fantastic, that movie.
It's really, in my opinion, that's like almost a master class in directing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Everything about that movie is so deliberate and so well done. From the screenplay to the cinematography to the performances,
the storyboarding,
costume design, everything. It's like, and then and just the pace that he created with that movie. It's just like I said, it's one of the best directed movies of the last 25 years.
I still get choked up when I watch that. When the kid's looking at the newspaper and he's like,
yeah, he's making the connection.
Yeah. Oh man, I love that.
Yeah, and then even the big speech Sam Jackson gives at the end. I mean, it's
the glass speech. Yeah.
Yeah. It's powerful. I mean, and it'd be really cool if we could get a sequel to that. But who knows? I mean, I don't know if any of those three are capable of doing that anymore.
That's very true. Very true. At least with Book of the Green Planet, I can kind of see in my head maybe what an E.T. sequel would have been like.
Yeah.
But going on what you just said, now waiting for, I got a lot of piqued up interest more in the new Die Hard after hearing about this whole new thing they're doing with it.
Yeah, like the prequel with the wraparounds with the old John McClane.
Yeah. I wonder how they're going to do that.
Yeah.
Because I kept on hearing that it was going to be about Nakatomi.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're throwing this in. So.
Yeah. I don't know. It'll be weird because I don't know how much you know about the history of Die Hard, but that Die Hard was actually a book called Nothing Lasts Forever.
Yeah, the Frank Sinatra thing.
Yeah, which was a sequel to The Detective, which was a movie with Frank Sinatra. So it's like, you'd almost say The Detective is kind of the prequel,
Yeah.
But this is where they're going to establish their movie continuity, I imagine, and have, John McClane, his early, I think they're calling it Die Hard Year 1.
I don't even, I heard Die Hard 6, but Year 1, that sounds good.
Yeah. But, for me also, the thing that makes that original Die Hard so special is the fact that you've got this guy who is a cop, but he's so far out of his element.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for this, Die Hard 6, you can't have too much outrageous stuff going on, because then it takes away the everyman feel of John McClane in Die Hard.
Exactly. It takes away all that kind of well, because as the legend goes, Die Hard made Die Hard, right? So everything that happens in that building, you're kind of going along with John through the first ride for the first time. So yeah. They should just do a detective remake as the first half of the movie, and Die Hard 6.
Yeah, it's kind of neat though, because I think that they had reached an exhaustion point, especially with that last one in Russia.
Yeah. I rewatched all of them last two or 3 weeks ago, and
okay.
I can appreciate them more now from the first time I saw the last two, but for me it was like Die Hard 1, 2, and 3,
Yeah.
And finally, after all these years, putting it together that's our border at the end of Die Hard 3.
Oh, really?
Norde Ling and stuff like that. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that was like, wait a second here. After seeing it for so long that I haven't seen it, but those three are just untouchable for me.
Yeah, I watched all 4 of them prior to A Good Day to Die Hard coming out. I guess whatever Blu-ray set they had put out, I got that. It came with the free ticket for Good Day, because I only had the original Die Hard on DVD, like that big 2-disc set.
Oh yeah.
So I got the Blu-ray for that, and I sat down and I watched them all. But like Live Free, I actually think it has some good moments. I think the villain is really good. I think Timothy Olyphant was a great choice.
Yeah.
I think he's an incredibly underutilized actor, and I know Justified's done now, and the work he did on Justified is just amazing. It's great. But I really think, like, in terms of his Hollywood career, like, I think that dude is really underutilized, and to see him in that villain role in the 4th Die Hard was really cool.
He was great in that, and like and like even the other movie, like I think my favorite movie with him in it was The Crazies.
Okay, yeah.
I love him in that movie.
Yeah,
he is so good in that movie.
Yeah.
And like I was saying before, like going back and watching those last 2 Die Hards, I think my appreciation grew for it more. Because I could see a little bit more of McClane, whereas before I couldn't.
Yeah.
For me, it always stuck out as that scene where, like, he crashes the car into the helicopter, how he's talking to himself.
Yeah.
To me, that was, like, the pivotal John McClane sequence in that movie. But now I can sort of see other things.
Yeah.
Even in the last one, it wasn't as bad as I remembered it being somehow. It grew on me.
Yeah.
And it was cool to watch the Kevin Smith interviews on it. On the Blu-ray and stuff too.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I know on Slidecast we've talked about at what point the Rocky franchise sort of leaves our reality.
Yeah.
And you could make the same argument about Die Hard. Like you could say, after Die Hard 3. We're not really in this reality anymore because you've got McClane jumping on top of jets.
Yeah, it's true. Like that whole jet sequence when he comes sliding down. They should, to make it a little more believable, they should have had him all cut up after that. In 3 when he falls off the thing and he's got like the splinter in him and there's just blood everywhere. They should have went that way.
I think that's a problem with most franchises as they go on, though, and I think the Fast and the Furious franchise, which I'm a big fan of, don't get me wrong, I've seen all those movies, I've seen the last couple opening day, but I think they finally reached with this last one, the suspension of disbelief's a little too great, although there's still a ton of fun.
Yeah.
You have that sequence where they jump between the 2 buildings, like, for me, that's just not something I can see a character thinking about, knowing their odds of surviving.
Yeah. I'm going into this whole continuity thing with the Rambo thing, too, now, trying to figure out all the different years, trying to figure out, like...
I wanted to ask you about that, because you told me, or I saw you post on Facebook, that you now think that First Blood takes place in 79.
Yeah, 79.
Okay. So what led you to come to that conclusion?
I was working on this fan film prequel script. I've been working on it forever now and trying to go through every book, trying to go through every film, trying to go through everything to try and piece everything together, like James Cameron universe, Force of Freedom universe.
Yeah.
Because my whole thing with it was, if you could do a Rambo reboot, why not embrace all sides of Rambo and try to connect it together? So I was looking for some things that would connect together. And then it hits me the speech when Rambo's at the end of First Blood, when he's like, oh, I've had this for 7 years, so I go back, okay, 1972. That makes sense with what Troutman says in the beginning of Rambo 2, when he says, actually, was it 72 or 71, where he says the camp you escaped from was 71. I think it was 71 or 72 or something like that. So I went up 7 years, and then also he says in that scene, you don't want to stay here for another 5 years. So I counted back, and that brought me to 79. So I was like, kind of makes a little bit of sense. To me, I thought it made sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think
So
part 3 is like a year later. So 86.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So that's how that came about. But I can kind of see it, just from what they said in the other one. I don't know if that was intended, or if that was just fluke that they said it like that, but that's what I got from it, so.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And it's funny, because a lot of times, I think, as much thought, they don't put as much thought into figuring things out as they could, and they'll just, I think the Rocky series is guilty of that. They'll just throw out dates, and then, like,
I tried figuring that out too, and the only thing I could come up with was that, for Rocky 4 anyway, that, or Rocky 4 and Rocky 5, that, like you guys said, it must have taken place, the beginning must have taken place at a totally different time than when they got back to the neighborhood. So they must have like all that stuff with like losing the house and the auction and everything like that. But you look at it also in part 2 and 3, you got that time of the 10 title defenses, but it doesn't really tell you,
Yeah.
And I just realized a while back, I'm not sure if you guys mentioned it, you might have mentioned it. I was reading an article that Sergio Stallone was in Rocky 3.
Yeah.
And I was just like, whoa. Because I was reading an article about the robot and all that from Rocky 4.
Yeah. That was like an autism treatment, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's cool. I totally overlooked Sergio. Oh, did I lose you? Still there? Wait.